Welcome to the Collecting Keys Real Estate Investing Podcast with your host, Mike DeHaan and Dan Austin. From wins, losses, horror stories, and tactics for optimizing your business, Mike and Dan take a real, uncensored deep dive into the ins and outs of running a full-time real estate investment and wholesaling business.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 9 of the Collecting Keys Real Estate Investing Podcast. Dan and I had quite a day today. What do you go to 5 properties today?
Yeah. Froze our asses off to make some money today. Like,
well, you did. I wore a coat like an adult. Because it's now December and it's winter.
Yeah, winter in the Northwest is a little bitey.
Yeah, right. You're giving me a hard time. I mean, I did make you wait while I was looking for my coat because we unpacked some winter stuff yesterday, so it's kind of spread throughout our house. And I had no idea where any of my winter stuff was, but of course, I had to drag my wife out of bed because she knew exactly where everything is. But
how'd that go?
Yeah, I mean, it went great. She found my coat, even though you only had to wait 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Worthwhile because I didn't look like you out there shaking outside the house.
Cold.
It was just shivering.
But I was so excited and overjoyed with what we got to see that it warmed my heart.
It's kind of. I was thinking about this today. It's funny so we walked through 4 properties today. One of them is I guess 3.5. One of them we plan to walk through, which is a flip that we basically bought it with the tenants in place. We listed it so that we could get the tenants out because in Washington State, it's impossible to remove people and they were not willing to be cooperative with us. We listed it with no intention of actually selling it and then ended up getting an offer for like 20 or 30 grand over our asking price or something stupid.
30,000 over asking as is. I mean, we had to do a couple FHA repairs because it was an FHA buyer, which most people are always like, oh, don't FHA and VA suck. It's like, no, this one went great. Honestly, just had to know how to work the system.
Yeah, it will. So we can get the people get the people
right.
Out.
Yeah. Well, I told them tomorrow if they got anything there, the junk out guys are going to be taking it. So I think they're motivated.
I hope so. I mean, I guess we'll find out. But we're there today. We were kind of planning to basically check it out, get the cleaners and stuff in there. And it turns out they're still fully camped in the property. But
I haven't even packed.
Well, I mean, that's what I'm kind of wondering though, because they said that a lot of stuff there was from the previous owner. So I'm kind of wondering if they just have a suitcase and they're just going to walk away and go somewhere else.
If that's the case, it's taken them 6 months to pack that suitcase. So it's terrible. But yeah, I actually haven't gotten the time, but I'm supposed to sign for that one tomorrow.
Oh, really?
So yeah, it's supposed to fund tomorrow. But yeah, unfortunate.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
it'll close. I'm confident it will close.
If it closes. I mean, that'll be pretty sick because if it closes, I think I did our sort of base numbers on it. We're going to make 60 something after all of our net. That'll be our net after all of our costs for buying a property, doing nothing, and then putting it on the market
on an unintentional wholesale on a major fixer upper.
Yeah.
You got to take your wins in a market like this, right? I mean, it's just like you don't know, and hey, we won. Yeah,
exactly. Right. You got to shoot your shot. Yeah. So we went and walked that one. That was kind of a half walk through because they were there. So we didn't actually get to do what we planned to do. Then we went over to our Airbnb, first Airbnb, which went live last Friday. It is now Sunday. Within the first, 12 hours, we had our first couple bookings. Yep. We got another one today. So starting to be a good proof of concept, hopefully. I feel like coming around that quick, especially because we'll have some quirks and stuff to figure out.
Yeah, I was excited, but kind of bummed too, because I was like, oh crap, I should probably walk it since, the cleaners cleaned it last week. I mean, we're just finishing everything up, getting it all stocked, and the cleaners finished up. It's like, oh man, there could be something. I don't know. Let's go walk it. And then I got to watch you build a shelf upside down because we need a small shelf. And that is why Mike is not allowed on properties to do any construction work.
I mean, why would it be the way that it was the way that it was supposed to be made no sense.
No.
Why would it ever even if you looked at the shelf the way that it was supposed to be built, it looked like, I don't know. I think it was stupid. It's a stupid shelf.
There is a picture on the box of what it's supposed to look like.
Get out of here. I mean, you're not wrong, but I don't know, man. Amazon, China shelves. Put
Yeah.
the bottle of detergent on that thing's gonna flip it over
Oh yeah.
anyway.
Oh yeah. It's still a shitty shelf, but whatever. It's good.
But yeah, went and walked through that. Final touches there. First guests are moving in tomorrow. Are they there for the week or just a few
Yeah.
days?
Yeah. Monday through Friday. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, hopefully it all goes well.
Honestly, we should do, even though it kind of hurts the ego a little bit. Have you let them know that they're gonna be our first ever guests, and to just
Um,
say, hey, if there's weird stuff, please be kind to us and just let
yeah.
us know so we can fix them for the next people.
Yeah, I should do that. I did that because we had like that last minute booking this weekend that ended up canceling. But and I told them that. And so I should do that with this group. That's actually a good idea.
Yeah. I don't like to admit being fresh or new on something, but
Yeah.
that is really valuable feedback if you're willing to give it to us. Even just little stuff, because there's things you don't
Yeah.
even notice until you live there.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
I think every rental property that we've renovated, we'll walk through it and we'll test all the stuff we think of. And we're like, yeah, this is great. And then, the tenant, whoever moves in there, is in there for 3 days. And they're like, so, did you know that this random thing that you would never even have looked at doesn't work? And we'd be like,
right.
No, okay, you better get somebody out there to fix it.
Exactly. Yep.
But yes, that's all dialed in. If you guys want to stay in Spokane, what's it called? Like the cute modern Manitou.
No.
Something like that.
What did I name it?
Name for it.
What did I name it? No, I did that on my own. It was
Cheers.
It was something meets chic.
Oh, you're right. It was
what was it? What did I come? I don't know how I came up with that.
Modern meets chic or something like that.
Yeah, there you go. Modern meets chic Manitou home. It's near a park called Manitou Park. So here in Spokane. So
yeah. So sure, it'd be a good little experiment for us. I have no doubt we'll do well with it, just because it is a nice house. It sleeps a good number of people in a very desirable part of town.
Yep. So, and if not, this is what, I think speaks to how we buy things, is multiple exits on anything, right? So this was originally we were thinking it could be a flip, it could be a short term, it could be a long term rental. Ended up going obviously a little higher end because of we're doing it as a short term, and then the cost to furnish and all that. So then you start thinking, well, our exit on the flip wouldn't be as profitable or as good because you spend thousands and thousands of dollars furnishing it, get it dialed in. We paid a designer. But the great thing with this one is, again, we bought it in a great location with another lot. So we're doing the short plat process and going to subdivide it into 2 lots. So we could sell that other lot, and that would basically take all of our cash out of the deal plus a profit. And we'd still now have a great cash flowing property. Or we can, what we're talking about now is developing that second lot ourselves, which would be fun. It'd be a first ground up development if it makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think our position on that has kind of changed when we initially bought it, just because our financial position is different.
Sure.
When we bought it. For us to be able to build something seems more tangible than it did even 3 months ago, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, because we could sell that lot probably for, what do you figure about, $150, just for the
somewhere in there,
lot on the south.
And I think a build, we have one of our strong, great lenders that we use for private money. He's already said, I'll just fund the build. And so we're basically would be $0 into the build out of pocket. Right. And it's just, what can we build there? And does it pencil out in the market and what we're trying to do, I think is what matters there.
Yeah.
Well,
that'd be sweet. If we could build that and then have some new construction rentals, I would not be sad.
No, that's
since
great.
Everything that we work with is always old and beat to hell. It'd be nice to have something fresh.
Right.
So we got that one all figured out. And then after that, we went to one that we might accidentally be purchasing. I say accidentally. So this deal, it's a pretty major fixer in a nice neighborhood. We have it assigned to somebody right now to wholesale it, but they've gotten real slippery. And then after doing some digging on this person, they associate with some really questionable people in town. So I'm kind of expecting the guy to screw us over and just walk at the last minute, like people in this group are known to do. They are an investment group out of Coeur d'Alene. They are named after a particular individual. That's kind of the name of their company. I'm not going to put it on public blast here. You never know who's listening.
Keep it professional.
Yeah. All the other investors will know about this team. that's over there that does all
Yeah.
these shady ass things. So after discovering that, I know our dispo manager has been having trouble getting specific details from him. So I'm expecting that one to go sideways. So again, multiple exits. Kind of our strategy here is to basically close in on ourselves. We don't necessarily have the general contractor slash labor slash time capacity to do it. So essentially, what our split is we have found some young, hungry, like newbie flippers who, are smart. They have some cash. They're put together, but they are trying to sort of figure out how to get their foot in the door. So we are going to partner with them on it. We are going to bring the money for the down payment. They are bringing the money and the hustle for the rehab. And we're basically just going to help them secure the loan on the terms that we get, which are going to be better than what they get because we have experience and lenders like us better because of that, and are going to provide some consultation on things that they come up.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'd be a little bit of like a different partnership. And then our goal is hopefully we can park some, our down payment money, which would be probably about 25 to 30 grand probably. And, we'll collect a wholesale fee on the front of that. It's mainly just to pay our guys, and we got to buy stuff from the business like everybody else. So we'll be able to collect some revenue there, and then at the end of it, we'll split and deal with them. And they'll get their first flip experience, I guess, under our guidance and with us sort of helping them secure it, and then they will bring all the money for the rehab and the hustle, and we'll sort of see how that goes. So.
Yeah,
Either
it's a
way.
great deal. Like, I mean, it's a big project, no doubt. It's a good neighborhood, though. It's a solid flip, but it's just a good deal. Like, it's definitely something that right now, capacity wise, like our crew is like fully dedicated. We've got like 4 or 5 active projects, little projects to big projects, and we're trying to balance all of that. So we have the money, not the time. And these guys have the time and want the experience. So it's a match made in heaven when the timing works out. It doesn't always work out for everybody, but for us, I think this is great because we get to, teach and mentor a new person, and they get to reduce their risk by having somebody that can teach and mentor them while they go through it.
Yep,
And
exactly.
if it goes well, everybody wins.
Exactly. Right. And totally. And I mean, for us, we're kind of from the standpoint where we have more opportunities than time. I mean, honestly too, we kind of, with our current position, we kind of have more cash than we like, I guess, necessarily kind of sort of apply with like our limited crew. So, I guess we could either take some of that out, which would be awesome, I guess. But at the same time, if we can put that towards other projects to produce more revenue, we might as well do it. I mean, I'm not exactly needing to take a big distribution right now, pay a bunch of taxes for no reason.
Yeah, it's interesting too to think about because I was thinking about working on kind of putting up basically the personal financial statement and working on my one sheet that we do with GoBundance, and it's fascinating if you look at it and you think about it. It's like, so every dollar I earn, I pretty much so invest. So it's like a 1-to-1 earnings to investing, which kind of sucks because like you have all this income that you don't necessarily see all the time. But then really for every dollar we invest, it's like $3 or $4 or $5 that we're investing because we're leveraging, right? So we're taking maybe between the two of us, a chunk of money, investing it and leveraging that against something. And then once you pull your money out and you have that equity, granted it's an infinite return, but if you just look at it that way, why you use leverage, you're actually investing more dollars than you earn.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you're completely right. I mean, well, that's kind of the power of real estate, being able to use that leverage too.
Yeah.
Because it's also secured by that asset. So it's a lot safer than if it was just like, I don't know, because people use like margin and stuff to trade stocks. There's not necessarily like as hard of an asset there, and those things can go sideways very quick. But with a house, I mean, even if the market takes a dip and you have to lose the house or sell it, like there's still downside on it. You can still usually recover. You can limit your risk for the asset that you are working with.
Well, the interesting is between like a stock and a house, and this goes back to your comment, like a house is still a house, is you're going to sell or trade that house for that value, that structure. Now, it's not always 1-to-1 with what rebuild costs are, and that's a whole nother conversation. But when you buy a stock, you buy equity into a company, like say Amazon, like their assets are pretty large, but if they had to sell those off, they would not even come close to paying back the investors of what have purchased, because what they're doing, you're buying that stock or that equity based on a proposed valuation for future earnings. And it's going to change at or trade at a multiple of 14, 20, 30 multiple of the revenues. And so that's what you're buying, future earnings. With a house, when you're trading it, you're generally buying what the cost of that asset is.
Yeah. Man, look at you flexing your UW MBA right now. Is that the most that you've used that thing since you got it?
That is all. Actually, most of that was earned in the bar at the hotel.
Yeah, right.
Oh, man.
That's funny. But yeah, and then I guess a good note for this deal as well for any wannabe new investors out there. If you come and find somebody like us, there's people like us that are doing active flips in every market. If you can come forward to them, prove that you're smart, prove that you have some hustle, show that you have some cash and you're willing to put it on the line, you'd be surprised how often people are willing to partner up with you.
Yep.
We will happily make, significantly less money than we could if they're willing to do the majority of the work. We don't have to worry about it. Even if, even though we have to like secure the loan and things like that, I'm like, some people will say, oh, that's risky. I'm like, it's really not, because at the end of the day, the downside is it's a good deal. And the downside is kind of the loan amount. So worst case scenario, we got to sell the house, and we kind of break even, or we take a small loss, even whatever, because we can still get out of it because we're buying it at a discount.
Right.
So, if you're somebody who you feel like you're put together, you have some money, you want to work, but you don't know how to get started and you're kind of worried to pull the trigger, just go find some flippers like that are doing volume in your area. And obviously vet them too, because we talked about this a lot today.
Yeah.
How many people talk a big game? Especially I feel like recently we've come across this a lot where we're meeting all these people and there's just so much talk going on and no one's actually doing what they're saying. So you got to be kind of careful. And it's funny. I chat about this with our dispositions manager, Judd. Last week we went to lunch just to basically do like a monthly review. And he was kind of telling me, so we found him because he posted on Facebook saying that he was looking to get involved in the real estate investment company. And a real estate investment company. He's a younger guy, fresh out of college. And he said he got hit up by like a bunch of people. And he looked up most people that messaged him and was like, I'm not even going to bother messaging you back. And then he ended up talking to us because we looked like we were legit.
Right.
And he basically said that most people that hit him up were obvious that they weren't actually doing any deals and were like kind of just looking for somebody to like pay to do grunt work because they didn't want to do anything, And I'm just like, it's frighteningly common for how many people claim to be in the investment world. Anyway, good way to get started for them. And hopefully, we have a good win there and they can use that to get some momentum to go on to the next one. And then after that, we walked through our new purchase out in Spokane Valley that we bought on Friday. We closed on it. It's a little condo unit. It was one of those. It's funny, like the place is like a wreck, like it looks really bad, especially when you pull up. And the garage is a blue tarp and there's trash all throughout the yard, and then for the past several weeks, both our acquisitions manager and dispositions manager have been talking about how awful this place is. And maybe this is, the what is it? Your reality minus expectations. That's your happiness level, right? So my expectations on this were it was really bad. And then you walk in, the reality was like, it's really not bad. So my happiness level was extremely high.
It's just a lot of crap in there. It's actually a well-built, well-constructed, great spaces, newer build, 1970s, 1980s, somewhere in there.
I think it's like late 70s, early 80s maybe.
So a decent construction period as far as where the house sits. Like it doesn't have massive capital issues, foundation issues or anything like that. And I'm going to call it the dog shit house, mostly because it was full of dog shit.
They had 8 dogs living in this house. So it's a fully finished 2-bed, 1-bath right now. And then downstairs, there's a fully, I guess, like an unfinished basement that's kind of already has 2 rooms built out, but not finished all the way. And then basically an unfinished area that's the laundry area. So we're going to finish the 2 rooms downstairs, add a bathroom down there, make the laundry area a little bit nicer. We bought it for $150. Our rehab into it should probably 60, 65 to get the full turn on it done. So we'll be into it like $210. After it's done, it should be worth, valuations what I was at right now. Was that at a 3.2? I think I had it at 310. So as a 4.2, probably a little bit more, maybe like 330,
Yep.
340 potentially. So we're sitting in a really sick position. And our plan was to flip it. But I mean, honestly, if we go through it and the numbers make sense on it and we realize we can get a good rental rate and we can borrow our money out, I think that'd be a pretty dope rental.
Yeah, it would be a good rental because it is kind of weird. It is a condo, but it's more of like a duplex. And we just bought half of the duplex, which we've never done. So it's kind of a strange thing, but it's in a great neighborhood. It's in a cul-de-sac with a bunch of these little duplexes, what, 10, maybe
Yeah.
8, 10 in that area.
Yeah, well, it's technically a condominium unit, right? So
Yeah.
in theory, all the external stuff should be maintained by the condominium HOA. But obviously, since this house was a shithole from
It's
the
not.
outside, very visually,
Yeah.
the HOA is just stealing people's money
Yep.
and not actually doing anything.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird setup for sure.
Yeah.
We'll have to investigate that when we make the decision on the exit with it, because yeah, that could be a worrisome problem because their roof could need to be replaced in 10 years.
Here's what we do, Dan. We fix up that house. We go and we establish ourselves in that neighborhood, and we become the HOA.
We should.
I mean, honestly, though, right?
At least
Like,
buy
just,
the unit next door. That looks very nice.
yeah.
Which is even
You
worse
know?
about this. It's funny because that unit next door is like nice.
It is.
It doesn't need fixed up, has green grass, nice,
Mhm.
flower beds and all that. And then there's just garbage. There's like a line in the yard. It's just trash.
Yeah. But yeah, so I got some pretty sweet footage. I got a new DJI camera that has like a gimbal on it, so it's like some nice smooth footage. So I filmed a little walkthrough. I'm gonna put it together and throw it on YouTube, so you can keep an eye out for that. It'll probably take me about a week or so even to put that together, and then I'll add it to the show notes here, kind of after the fact. If you're listening to this later than early December 2021 and want to check it out, and then I will. We'll do some updates as we go through it as well, and definitely like a after completion video so we can sort of see the before and after. I think that'll be pretty dope.
Yeah,
But
it will be cool on this one,
but
especially because it's bad. Like it
yeah,
looks bad just because there's so much crap. There is a pool though. There is a pool.
there is an above ground pool, and also there's a bunch of there's 2 sets of washer and dryers in there. Speaking of which, with that, well, I guess you didn't go to the 5th house. I went to our second Airbnb on off of Kendall Yards here, which is kind of like the hip, trendy neighborhood by near downtown. So we have another one we bought there a couple months ago. It's gonna be our second Airbnb. We don't have a washer and dryer, man. We just found our washer and dryer for it.
I know, right?
It's perfect. Like seriously, we can throw those in there. That'd be awesome.
We are in a bit of a appliance. What would you call that? The supply and demand curves are a little out of whack because it's hard to get appliances right now, and we've got we need to buy like 2 or 3 sets of appliances right now, just from all the stuff we've got going on, and like units, appliance, dryer broke in the one unit. And it's like, so I got to scramble to get that.
Oh yeah,
stuff like that where you're just like, oh man,
steal the other dryer from this one and put it at Montgomery.
Yeah, I've got a plan.
Yeah,
figure it out.
I like it. Got to make sure that if you send the junk guys over there tomorrow, they don't take the good stuff like that.
Yeah. They're going to show up Tuesday. I've talked to them already.
Cool.
So.
You're on top of it. Look at you. All right. Yeah. So that'll be cool. And there's, that one was kind of a cool one too, because there's actually some pretty good stuff buried in there amongst all their crap. And so yesterday, our acquisitions managers, there was tenants in there. We had to pay them cash for keys, which basically means you give them money to pay them to just go somewhere else. Because typically, if someone's getting rehomed, they're not going to be super cordial if you just say, get out. You leave, right? And also, that's not really our business model. We're not trying to make people homeless. We try to set people up. So, in a lot of situations, we work with people to help them find other units and places to move and stuff like that. But, some of the people, like the first one we talked about, we kind of went that route, but then they were kind of dicks to us. So then we're like, all right, cool. You got the offer for us to be nice. And now we're going to kick you out.
Yep.
And then on this one, we basically went and approached them, and they were surprisingly cordial. And it's funny because there's a lot of junk there, but so we're paying them $1,700 to leave. Our arrangement was you'd pay them $800 to leave and leave everything, or $2,000 if they left and took everything. We ended up giving them $1,700 because our disposition manager kind of negotiated with them. And what's crazy is there's a lot of stuff still there. But they moved into an RV, and our guy who was out there this weekend, sort of helping them get going and collecting the keys and giving them their cash, said that they had this full-size RV that was literally full to the brim
Oh my
From
gosh.
basically there was the seats in the front and the rest of it was 100% full of stuff.
Wow.
So that's how much more stuff was there. And they just took it all with them. And, sure, like we still got stuff to clean up and we paid them the amount as if they were going to clean up the whole thing. But I guess so they did that. And they also got rid of 3 junk cars and they had a full dumpster of stuff they got rid of, like a full
Wow.
size, massive
That's
dumpster.
cool. That's cool. They made the effort because there's
It is.
no way an individual normal person in that timeline can actually get rid of that amount of stuff. I mean,
No
the
way.
garage is still like front to back full of stuff and beer, tons of beer cans. We should tell our guys to go over there if they want to make a little extra money and go scrap out the beer cans. Just like
Right. Well,
opening cabinets and they're pouring out.
I know. Yeah, that's what I was leading to is our guy was over there on Saturday and he called me and he's like, "Hey, so I got the keys." Like, "Do you mind if there's like a lawnmower here. Do you mind if I take it?" I'm like, "I don't care. Take whatever you want."
Please.
So he went and dug through the garage and found like a couple lawnmowers and like a snow blower and like a air compressor or something.
Oh,
and then yesterday he listed them on Facebook and sold them by yesterday night, made himself a couple extra $100.
That's cool. That's cool.
These old beater things,
Yeah. I love the hustle.
Opportunity everywhere. People find good stuff. Somebody in our in Ryan's mastermind group, the Create Cash Flow group that we're in, they found like a classic car. That's Dylan from out in Pennsylvania.
Really?
He found like a classic car that's like actually pretty legit. And I guess it doesn't run, but I think last time I asked him about it, he said he was going to try and fix it up and sell it, or just like sell it as it is. But I mean, I guess it's based off of what other people are saying in the Slack group. It's worth like legitimate money.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's the sugar on top, man.
Right. Yeah. But he said it was literally, it was covered and in a garage that was completely just full of stuff. So you would never even know the car was there. And they were clearing it out and they were like, "Oh shit, there's a car in here." And it just happened to be like a dope car.
Dude's got like a Corvette in there.
It's a Lambo.
Sellers just forgot about it.
Yeah, right. Jeez. But yeah, so it went through that one. Super happy with that project. That'll be a great one. I think we'll do we'll do very well with it. And just the exit, whether we flip it or decide to keep it as a rental, we'll kind of figure out as we go along. And the last one I said was our other Airbnb that Dan didn't go there. I went down with my wife, and Jeff was there working, by the way.
Was he still there?
He was still.
I knew he was going to be there today. I just didn't know if he said he was about to finish up today.
Yeah, so it looks good, but yeah, I had the probably threw a wrench in our plans potentially when I was there, and so it's like a 3-2, but like one of the bedrooms is really small and weird, like it's almost like a closet, so it's not really like a 3-2.
It's not
like
really a 3-2, yeah.
So I was walking into it, and along with this house is this tiny little garage that you could really only fit like a Fiat in, or maybe like a Mini, Yeah. And I was like, why don't we just turn this into a freaking bedroom? Like, honestly, it'd be the easiest way to add some solid square footage, and then it would make it a true 3-2. I mean, better yet, you said, what if we finish that tiny bedroom into a bathroom? Now you have a 3-3. I mean,
you're miscounting bathrooms. There's only one bathroom, so it would be a true 3-2.
Is there?
Yeah.
Is there not a master bathroom?
No, there's just the one. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't even realize that. I thought there was an ensuite. So that would be perfect then. It'd be a 3-2, which would be a great size. I mean, I haven't had a chance to calculate the price per square footage over there, but I bet that would add really significant value to that neighborhood.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see what the numbers look like to see if it's worth it, because the garage is actually in good condition.
It is.
So we could easily convert that pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think that'd be easier than our other garage conversion that we did.
Yeah, honestly, it probably would be, because this is it's just this house has been rehabbed before, right? Mm-hmm. So it's got updated electrical, updated plumbing and stuff like that, where the other one was a 1950s, exactly how it sat.
Yeah. So and had like the awkward step down, which it still kind of has, but it's not. I don't know. I think like the bones of the garage are just gonna be better.
Yeah.
But yeah, so went through that one, and that one I'm excited about. So I guess we can talk about what the plan is for that, whether we want to furnish it out and then put it on Airbnb for a little bit, and then maybe do that conversion in like the springtime, or if we want to do that now, whatever that looks like. Yeah. But either way, some good options there. Always like having multiple exits. So overall, though, it's a productive Sunday.
Yeah,
we got a lot of stuff going on. after following, I think, one of our busiest closing weeks that we've had. We had 5 closings this past week. 4 wholesale ones, and then that one. So the Glen one that we bought, that we walked through the day with all the dog shit in it. And then we got 2 or 3 next week. I thought it was 2, but my wife said, "Are you sure you don't have 3?" And I literally still can't remember how many it is. And then we got 2 the week after that. And then we got 1 December 30th. So our month is freaking slammed right now.
So cool. We're going to have a banger of a Christmas party this year.
Oh, yeah. The Christmas party, going to take, our staff consists of us, and then our local staff is 2 young guys. I guess Judd's engaged, but he likes to socialize and go out. And then James is a single dude who likes to just go hard, I think. So we're going to
young single heathen in his 20s.
Yeah. So we're going to go up to the casino, go to the steakhouse up there. We're going to give them their bonuses in cash, and let's have a good time playing table games or doing whatever. See if they want to make good financial decisions.
Yeah.
Or not.
Oh, man. So all on black, baby. All on black.
Yeah. No, it'll be a good time. I think it'll be fun. It'll be a very different tone from our party last year, which was like more family oriented, because our staff that time was just our one acquisitions manager, and everyone was more, what's the right word? Refined, low key. Yeah. Low key. Exactly.
Less fun. The culture's good now.
Yeah, it is for sure. I know it is definitely a very different culture, but it'll be good. And then right now we're in the zone of trying to tee stuff up for January, which is always kind of where things end up in December. When it starts to get quiet, especially up here, it gets dark, it gets cold. All the sellers and everyone else starts to hunker down a little bit.
Yep.
So I'm hoping it'll end up, because right now new leads are kind of slow. So I'm hoping that when we get into January, it just starts banging again. That's what it did last year anyway. I think our January was pretty hot after a pretty slow December. So
yeah, I think it will. I think it'll be good. Be good. Cool. 2022.
Yeah, I know. We gotta have a goal setting meeting. I went to lunch with James on Friday, and he was like, "What are our goals for 2022?" And I was like, "Oh man, you're on it. Let's figure it out."
Yeah.
So
it was this time last year. This time last year, I think we set goals, so we got to definitely carve out time to do it.
Yeah, we're getting there. I know we got to do it as like definitely a full group thing. He kind of shared me what he wants to do. So that's something else that we're providing him. I am personally partnering with him to flip his first house. We're closing on next Friday. So he didn't quite have the cash or the financial ability to get it done solo. We want him to have the opportunity to do it. So he is buying a deal from the business as part of a perk for working from us. And I'm basically fronting the down payment, charging him a little bit of interest on it, but nothing crazy. And he's going to do all the work on it, front the money for the rehab. And just like I mentioned to them before, difference being is that I'm not going to split the deal with him once it's all done. So if he makes off like a bandit in that deal, he's going to be getting a fat paycheck for himself.
Man, good for him. I hope he does well on that. I think he will. That'll be a good deal.
I think he will. That's going to be a pretty easy deal, I think. It's a pretty bread and butter flip, carpet, paint, hot neighborhood with a little bit of land. It's kind of a funny layout house, but I don't think it'll matter since with the way that it's sort of positioned, in fact, being a little bit newer.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the type of flip everybody looks for.
It is.
I want the carpet and paint with fat margins.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, and you're completely right. That's one that everyone looks for. New investors all the time, they come to us and say, "I want a house like this." And we say, "Well, we buy those houses.
Yeah.
If you want to buy one of those houses, either find them yourself or create some value and an incredible amount of revenue for some other people. And then they will be happy to give you those deals."
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Throw you a bone, give you the opportunity.
Yeah.
But cool. All right. So that's kind of our time. I mean, I don't know. Any good lessons learned, Dan?
No, nothing. Lesson learned. I have the horror story. It's not my horror story. It's James's horror story. When we were walking through the dog shit house, and our acquisitions manager's name's James, and they had a baseball bat in the garage with his name burned into the baseball bat. I love that, dude.
And it was carved several times into the side of the garage too, which was funny, which we didn't even notice when we were there. And
Yeah, I did not
James,
notice it.
yeah, James took that photo because I sent it over to him, and he sent me back the photo of it
Oh, okay,
burned in the
okay,
other
that's where
spot.
that came from.
Yeah, but it's funny because now, like, I was watching the video I recorded this afternoon, and it's so obvious. But when you're there, it's so overwhelming because there's just like
Yeah,
shit everywhere.
yeah.
And I couldn't stop seeing it. It was hilarious.
So,
So
yeah, that might be a true horror story here in the future.
yeah, I mean, apparently it could have ended very differently for him if they had a change of heart or they decided to use the baseball bat that was, designated for him.
It was prepared for him.
It was,
That's
seriously.
so bad.
Yeah. God, I feel like that's seriously super weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good horror story. And then I guess good horror story / lesson learned. Go a slightly cynical note here. We had a good realization of how people in the investment community, even of the most professional grade, can be complete dirtbags. When we had an update on our situation with where the tenant got kidnapped, not the tenant, the seller got kidnapped from closing a few weeks ago, and the seller ended up being found and all this sort of stuff, but we found out from the kidnapper because the kidnapper had a contract with the seller, was supposed to be purchasing it, couldn't follow through, so the deal fell out last August. And he told me where they were closing it, so I called the closing attorney, who's a very, very prominent figure in the investment community here in Spokane. And basically, we've done a lot of deals with him. We actually deal with him closing right now, and laid out a situation of like, hey, we tried to close this deal, and this person came and abducted our seller and saying he's coming to your office. Just so you know, if he tries to close this deal, it's fraudulent. We have the active contract. Here it is. Sent it to him. And I'm like, so if you choose to move this thing forward, just so you know, you're supporting fraud. You're committing a crime. And then sure enough, what do you fucking do?
Close
Close
it.
the fucking deal. Right? Like, one of the top real estate lawyers in Spokane, and anybody from Spokane knows who this person is, chose to push through this fraudulent deal that was directly interfered on by this scrub investor.
That's
that
crazy.
Is not doing active stuff at all. And is honestly too, if you looked at how the deal went through, he's completely screwing over the seller.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So basically what it is, he's doing like this weird carryback thing. So he only gave him like a certain amount of money and then basically required the seller to give him back some of the money for an RV. This is what the seller told our dispo guy. So
This is
basically
crazy.
the seller's walking away with nothing. And,
Wow.
with us, he was going to be making 30 grand. So,
Wow.
yeah, Mr. Lawyer, very prominent lawyer in Spokane, you're a crook, you're a scumbag, and you'll never hear this. But just in case you do, or anybody that I know does and wants to tell him
who you are.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a couple words with them. We go close with them this week because
Good. That's bullshit. That sucks.
Yeah. So anyway, I guess the good lesson learned there was trust no one, and especially if you're dealing with people that don't have a lot going on, like this other investor who interfered there. We've had 7 or 8 deals go sideways this year, just with weird situations with sellers or people. But we're fortunate enough that we get several hundred leads a month, so it doesn't really matter, right?
Yeah,
like,
we can maintain our ethics.
Yeah.
Some people can't because they're so hungry. And they just make decisions that are not ethical.
Yeah, exactly. So either way, it was a good lesson to learn to trust nobody, and definitely make sure that you do your part to like keep yourself safe and keep your deals, under your own control as much as you can. So, anyway, cool. All right, guys, that's the end of this week's show. You can follow me at Mike_invests. You can follow Dan at InvestorManDan, both on Instagram. You can follow our podcast, which is slowly coming together, our podcast Instagram at Collecting Keys Podcast. Website still coming up. I'll get to it eventually when we have. That honestly might be my Christmas project when we're kind of slowed down. I'll just I'm going to be home in Montana. I might just spend that throwing that all together. We will be putting some stuff up there kind of on a regular basis, and then keep an eye out for the YouTube video as well. I'll share that on our Instagram as it comes together. So cool. Thanks everybody. Talk to you next week.
See y'all next week.
Thanks for listening. Please leave us a review on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. And check us out at collectingkeyspodcast.com for tips and guides on starting your own real estate investment and wholesaling business.